going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hollywood Cole and Clearfire video game experience. I'm Hollywood Cole, and this is
Clearfire.
Yeah, Clearfire's here. I had to get him to stop playing Destiny for 2 seconds after all that big rant that we just did.
Still playing it.
He still plays it. Got the Trials of Osiris auto rifle from our clan.
Thank you very much, clan, for giving me that gun. I've really appreciated the clan reward system. That's been that's been a positive out of playing Destiny so far. Is not having much time to devote and getting the clan rewards. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't turn mine back on after that podcast. But it's so I can't play it, man. I played a little bit of PvP, and it just takes me every bit of about 2 matches, and I'm like, yeah. Actually, the beginning of the week, I'll go through and do the rewards. And as soon as I'm done with that, there's really nothing I do. I didn't even do the Nightfall or anything.
Yeah.
The past 2 weeks, I haven't even done the Nightfall.
Well, I finally did my first Nightfall last week. I finally felt like I had enough level to do it, and did it with the clan members. So I'll probably do a Nightfall again this week. But this one's supposed to be harder than last week, so who knows?
Yeah, I'll try to do it, but anyway, I don't know. I kind of. I've been playing Neverwinter with Drew, and that's just us MMOs, and it's all right. It'll do, for a while. And we were looking forward to the Call of Duty, which I never thought I'd say that. Which I just kind of want something that I can just jump on and kill for a little bit, but actually get some progressions. They got a lot of good things with different rifles or different guns or whatever. Like, okay, you got to get so many headshots, so many kill streaks or whatever, and then you unlock certain camo or whatever. It just gives you something to go for the whole time you're playing. So that's kind of cool, and the progression system.
Well, see, that's why I'm looking forward to Star Wars Battlefront 2. Hopefully that'll be along that lines to where you can just jump on, do a little bit, and jump off, not have to devote, a couple hours. Because I feel like if I play Destiny, I've got to be able to sit down and devote a couple hours to really feel accomplished on anything. So hopefully Battlefront 2 will give me that. Okay, I can jump on for 20 minutes, play a little match or whatever, and be happy and walk away. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, that comes out, is it end of this month or first of next month? I forget exactly what the release date is on that one.
Yeah, I'm just a little skeptical because of the way they burnt everybody on the first one.
Oh, yeah.
It was a shame. But
first one was terrible. It was just...
Everybody was super excited. So, yeah, that's what happened. I'm glad that you don't have as much hype for it. People were excited for it, but there's that Battlefield 1 or Battlefront 1 was just everybody was pumped for it. They thought, and again, kind of the way I thought about Destiny 2. Oh, they're going to pick up where they left off in terms of all the good stuff they had going. So
yeah, we'll
see. Hopefully it's good. I'd love for it to be good. I love Star Wars. It'd be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars geek. Like I said in a previous podcast, if you go to my desk, I've got Star Wars pops all over my desk. I've got Destiny memorabilia all over my desk, and I've got Marvel pops all over my desk. So I've got all that stuff all up there. I'm a big collector of that stuff. So maybe I'll post a picture of it on our Facebook page one time so you can see what all I've got. I even got one of those 3D puzzles of R2-D2 sitting on top of my desk. So
did you put it together?
Yeah, we put it. We actually at work for the longest we had a little table where whenever you wanted to blow off a little bit of steam, you put together a puzzle. Well, so far we have put together the Millennium Falcon is a 3D puzzle. We put together a Star Destroyer, which was also a 3D puzzle, and we put together R2-D2. And R2-D2 actually has a little sound box with him, so in his foot you can press it and he'll make all his sounds too. So he's actually a really cool one.
Oh wow, that is cool.
So we've done all of those, and we've done other Star Wars puzzles. I've got some other puzzles in collector's tins that are sitting there too. So, but we have to have a little blow off time sometimes. So
yeah, that sounds like fun, man. We don't get to put together puzzles in my shop, but I love doing it. I got the Zelda Wind Waker and the Mario Kart one. It's the same one that you actually got me one. It's I got it up there on top of the game collector shelf. I haven't put it. It's sealed still. It's sealed up because their collector deal. I don't know if they're gonna be really worth anything or whatever, but it's still sealed up. And I usually get them out right away, but and put them together and frame them up. I just got them above the gaming TV right there. But I don't know. I don't know if to do that. And they still got the.
I I like that one that I got you. It was that nice Legend of Zelda collector's tin and everything. It was really nice. I thought it was a really nice looking puzzle. I know you're feeling it. I didn't want to do that.
I'm looking right at it. It's beautiful.
I've got a Darth Vader one that's in a collector's tin, and I didn't want to open it, but we put it together at work, and I'm glad we did because we found out that the puzzle actually had some defects in it, so I had to get it replaced.
Oh wow!
So, but it's cool. I've actually kept the defective one too, so that's kind of neat too.
Yeah.
So, because the defective ones usually end up being worth the more money.
They're having a garage sale in our neighborhood. Like every 6 months, they'll do a garage sale. Anyway. Last 6 months, I was walking around. We just like to kind of walk with the kids. It's usually good weather, October or whatever. So 6 months ago, whatever month that would be, May, something like that. I don't know, April. But, April. So, but I found this in-box Darth Vader helmet toaster.
Oh,
I don't.
nice.
It said we only used it one time, and it was like, no, he said he never even used it. I don't even think it was, I can't remember if it was opened or not. But anyway, I got it for $3, man. I looked online, it was like $25-$30, but I wanted to sell it again.
Nah.
But it burns Star Wars into the side of the toast.
Yep. That's awesome. Burns Darth Vader in one side and burns Star Wars on the other side.
Tastes so much better too because of that.
Oh yeah,
but we love it, man. I don't even have a toaster too, so it's like a bonus. You got
you got
and a Darth Vader head.
Exactly, there you go.
It's just so crazy.
Having fun with your toast that you need to be toasted.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, after the Destiny 2 podcast that we did for the rant session there, which was a lot of fun, blew off a lot of steam. You know, some people probably get turned off immediately if you're a big Destiny fan. That starts off with me saying, well, I don't know, I haven't played the game in forever. I'm already bored with it or something like that. And immediately people are going to be like, oh, gosh, this guy.
Well, it's funny you say that because one of the clan members today in our clan chat on the PSN network, he kind of busted on me for the little bit of the rant, and I'm like, oh, so you listened to the podcast? Yay! I turned it all from him busting on me about ranting about it to you actually listened to our podcast finally. Yay!
Yeah, I know.
So that was kind of funny.
Because it's just a different style, man. Different style of game. And it's like I said, it's great for casuals. But, I don't know. I just kind of ran out of stuff to do for my taste. And
they've kind of made it too. Yeah, they've made it too casual. And that's my only drawback on it. But, it's still fun. I still play it. Like you said, I mean, I was playing it when we started to record this podcast. I put it down so I could pay attention to the podcast so I don't freak Hollywood out while I'm looking at it.
looking at me. And I'm talking.
So looking at it. So.
And the whole time in my head, I'm like, I don't even know if he hears me or if he's listening or, so it just throws me off. But, I don't know what I'm going to do with that game. I don't know if I'm going to buy the expansion. I don't think, right now, I'm literally like, no, I'm not even going to deal with it. I might just wait till the end of the year edition or whatever, like I told everybody else to do. But we'll see. But I guarantee it's going to be, here's our next expansion. This is going to improve everything that you want to choose Rumble, you want to choose whatever. This is going to fix it. $30, or all this stuff that everybody complains about. This is going to fix it, and it won't. You'll play it for a week, and you'll be done. Then the next one, this next one's coming out. It's going to fix it, too. And everybody just goes, okay, hands you your money. And, but... I just don't know, man. But anyway, this isn't about Destiny 2. But
I was going to say,
there's so much stuff I can say about.
Let me slow you down before we get deep in that, because me and you both will start going off again.
Yeah, you know how I am.
As much as I'd love to rant on it again, we need to do something to keep it fresh for our listeners. Let's make sure you guys are wanting to listen and enjoy hearing what we have to chat about. So, I guess I'll push us into the segment this time since I haven't gotten the chance to do that. So
all right,
we actually Hollywood presented this to me earlier. Toward the end of last week, we were trying to figure out what we want to do, and we want to lean more toward doing retro stuff. And so he brought up, "Hey, let's do Mega Man X," and I'm like, "Hey, that's kind of fresh. It's kind of new. We haven't done anything Super Nintendo, and of course we're 6 podcasts in now, or 4 podcasts, something like that. We're like this will either be our 5th or 6th podcast out. So I was like, let's throw some more retro in there. Let's do a retro game. And what I thought, when he said that, I was like, oh man, I hadn't played that, and dude, I can't remember how long. I actually counted it up. It's been over 20 years since I have played this game.
So you're gonna have some good fresh data on
it. Yeah, I'm gonna have some really fresh data on it. So I was like, well, I got to check some stuff out and pull some stuff up. And let me tell you, if you're an old gamer like we are, and you've been playing games for a while, when you go back and you read an article about the game, you will not believe how much memory comes back. You will not believe how much of the good times come back. And that's why I love doing this podcast with Hollywood, because we played most of these games that we're going to talk about throughout our podcasting. We played them together, or we talked about them over the phone if we weren't able to play them together. And Mega Man X is a prime example of a game that we got to play together. It's on Super Nintendo. We were both either middle school, high school, somewhere.
So you don't remember. You don't even remember, and this is why I brought this one up. So it came out in '94, like January, I believe.
Yeah.
So we were 7th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade. I was 7th grade, you're 6th grade, so I'm 13, you're 12. And I got all the Nintendo powers, GameCubes, all that kind of, GamePro and Nintendo powers. And so I always kept up with all the games, you know. Internet was really nothing at that point for us, anyway, for the average American in Scott County, Mississippi. And so anyway, I kept up all the games and the magazines and stuff. Well, then you were the first one to get it. I don't know how I guess you got it for Christmas or something. Well, no, because it was January.
I saw it in the store, and I looked at my mom. I was like, "Hey, look, I haven't spent my Christmas money. You mind if I use some Christmas money to buy it?" Because I'm looking at the box cover art right now, and what drew me to it was the fact that there was an underwater scene to it. And at that time, I was big into underwater stuff, a lot of that, and watching movies and videos and documentaries that were about the sea life and everything. And so I was like, oh, this will be a cool game. And it's Mega Man.
That's the craziest explanation for why you wanted a game I've ever heard in my life.
Trust me.
Mega Man's had like 6 titles out there, like this just killer of games, and you're like, what is this game? Oh, he's underwater. Well, I love underwater maritime.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
my gosh, that's great.
I knew of Mega Man.
Mega Man's a bonus.
Exactly. I knew of Mega Man, and I liked Mega Man, and I played Mega Man 1 and 2, and other things like that. But I never really played deep into the Mega Man lore until later on. And then I was like, with Mega Man X, I was like, let's check this out. It looks interesting, And yes, I will tell y'all, when we go through and we review these games, I can give you some crazy ways I relate to these games and the reason why I buy them. Because it's going to happen more and more. So when we review another game, you're going to hear some more crazy things. So just be prepared for that.
Well, I'm glad that you did get it, because that's one of my favorite. So I remember going over there and playing it, and I owned Mega Man 3 was the last one I bought on NES. So just a little real quick backstory about Mega Man. The first time I played it, Randy, my cousin in our neighborhood, we went over there to play video games. They had all these different games just laid out all over the floor and stuff, and it's Mega Man, and it was so difficult. And I was like, I don't know, nobody knew anything about games really, what series and all this, but he had Mega Man 1, and it was just so difficult. But I borrowed it from him, and you play a stage and I can't get past it, whatever. I'll just play a different one. You didn't really understand about progression and all. But anyway, part 2 came out. No, I think part 2 was at Video Visions. You might hear Video Visions quite a few times.
You will definitely hear that. That and Rogers Reynolds, you'll hear both of those, because those were the 2 places that you could go get video games at the top. Pops, I forgot about Pops. Pops is an ice cream booth now.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. It's a coffee shop too, or it was.
Yeah, it's got coffee, ice cream, all kinds of stuff. It's got random stuff. So guys, you're gonna get to hear some crazy, weird nostalgia from us. So be prepared for some kind of fun stuff.
I took my wife over there. It wasn't a coffee shop, obviously, when we were growing up, but I was down there. I don't know, 6 months. I don't know how long ago I was there. So it's been a long time since I've been back.
Me too.
I think it's been within a year though.
Yeah, they've been in business for about 2 years now. I think they're at that place where Pops is.
We got some coffee there. It was really good. I was impressed.
Because my mom works right beside it.
Yeah, where she work?
That little check cashing place that's right beside it. So she works there right beside it. So that's the reason why I know so much about it, because my mom loves coffee and she gets her coffee from there. She's a coffee addict.
Yeah. Well, no, Pops was down. So that wasn't Pops. That was a different one.
I thought that was Pops.
Pops was down by across from the courthouse. Remember they had the pool hall in there?
Yeah, Pops eventually went there, but remember Pops started out in the little bitty little bitty office building that was right there across the street from right across the street from Community Bank.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know where that. I couldn't remember if that was Pops. Yeah, Pops did start off there and then moved.
They started there and then they eventually went to the pool hall because trust me, there's many nights I spent playing pool in the back of Pops.
Yeah. So anyway, so it was at Video Visions. And I saw the Mega Man 2 box, and I was like, dude, Mega Man 2, I remember playing this at Randy's, and so I got it, and I loved it. And then I ended up, just renting that one or whatever, ended up buying Mega Man 3. So I loved it. And Mega Man 3, I mastered that game. I loved it. Mm-hmm. And so I went over there to play. I never played 4, 5, and 6, which are also on the NES. And then you showed me, hey, got a new Mega Man. Cool, it's on Super Nintendo. That was the new hotness. Nintendo 64 wasn't coming out for another year or two, and so went over there to play it, and it just like we'll talk about the details of it. It was just, I remember, it just blew me away. And every time I play it to this day, in fact, I played it before I was on playing the game before we got on this podcast. I played it all the way till I got to the start in the Sigma after you kill all the bosses. I got all the bosses, and but I actually just finished. I went all the way through and got every item, finished the game. About 2013 was the latest I played it. I was at SOS military squadron officer school, but I played it there and finished it there. But but anyway, so I've recently completed it, and I've recently played it, of course. But I did go through some reviews, and I like these podcasts. All we do them. I listen to podcasts all the time about these types of games, and actually re-listened to another one this morning. Just to kind of get brushed back up on it as well. But every time I play that, man, or see that game, and that's one I actually do not own on Super Nintendo right now, which I got to get. I want that Super NES Classic and that's on there for one of the.
Oh, is it? I didn't realize it was on there. Well, good luck on trying to find it because they're sold out everywhere, and if you want to get it off eBay now, it'll be $300.
It'll be here. It'll be back. I trust Nintendo with it, even though they failed us with the NES, but. NES Classic, but they're bringing the NES Classic back now. So,
are they?
Yeah, so they're just going to probably leave the SNES running and the NES running, I would think. So it'll eventually be here. So everybody's in there. I've just heard so many stories, and not to get off on the side note here, we're going to take a little detour, but people that were in line for this SNES Classic, they were here. Everybody that I've seen or heard about on YouTube or whatever, were camping out and all this. Everybody was talking about, I'm going to get 3 or 4. I'm going to make this much money. Nobody said anything about, Super Metroid's on here. I love that game. I mean, there's an issue. There's a problem. It's greed, man. And, it's just the love of money's the root of all evil, man. I mean, and that's not just because of the Super NES Classic. And we'll have a separate podcast for this subject.
You got a good point there. I mean, it
really is.
It's hurting gaming. I mean, look at what we discussed on Destiny and how they're pushing the microtransaction system. That's hurting gaming.
That's helping them somehow.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the greed of money again. Once again, wanting to pull every penny out of a game. And it's the same way with gaming on cell phones and things like that. Because right now, gaming on cell phones is one of the biggest businesses that they have in the video game industry, and they're making a killing.
Shallow
off of it.
Games, but biggest business.
Exactly, and so that's hurting gaming right now, and I really hate that. And I really hate that when you talk to people, that we're trying to get these classics to be able to play it with their kids. Because that's
exactly why I want it.
Is to play with my kids, to show them what me and you got to play back in the day, to show them the real nostalgia, the true games, and what games really were, and to hear people, they're like. Instead of going, I'm so pumped for these games that are on there, they're like, I'm so pumped because I'm going to be able to make $3,000 off of 4 systems. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's one on Craigslist here in Panama City for $140. All the ones on Amazon are like $200. But I'm not even paying $140. I personally, I hope every scalper out there gets burned. They should not have done it.
I do. So
if you're a scalper and you're listening, I even understand if you buy 2. One to play, one to collect. I'm cool with it. And you end up selling that one, whatever, man. I don't have any hate towards you, but people that go out there with a sole purpose is to put them on Craigslist that same day. Oh my gosh! I almost would call you up and then just so I can punch you in the face when I see you to come pick it up, and then give you $80 and walk off.
Exactly.
How much it costs.
It's just ridiculous because they're ruining it for everybody else. For these people that want it to actually use it, to actually do something with it, they're ruining it for everybody else, and it's just ridiculous. So.
Yeah, so I don't have it on any Super Nintendo, the actual hard copy game, and I believe it goes for about $50. I'm not real sure. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you that on the Mega Man X collection on the PlayStation 2, which goes for about $20. The one on GameCube is $50 for sure. But that has the Mega Man X collection on PS2 has Mega Man X through Mega Man X6.
Is it just through 6?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason I thought it was through 8, but
nah. Yeah, it's $50, man. Wow, this Mega Man X has gotten ridiculous. No, because Mega Man Super Nintendo does go through 8, but that's not the X series.
Yeah,
and I got it over there. I might have to get it. I thought it was just the. I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 6. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll just look it up to make sure you got me thinking now. Now I don't know. I'm not sure. But 7 and 8. There's Mega Man 1 through 8. It's actually through 10 now. 9 and 10 are digital on the. It was on the Xbox Live. You can probably get it on PlayStation as well. Mm-hmm. But 1 through 8 were hard copy Super Nintendo games. Hold on. No, 1 through. Okay, 7 and 8 were PlayStation 1 games.
Okay.
But then you also have X, the X series, X 1 through X6. So let me look this up real quick because now I should have Mega Man X collection. PS2. I'm gonna go ahead and see how much it's going for too. That's still going for $15. That's real easy to get, and it's crazy because the one on GameCube is going for way more. So,
well, GameCube's got some weird nostalgia with it in itself, just because of it was almost a failed experiment for Nintendo.
Well, I guess you get to play with the GameCube controller too, and people love that. Well, this is 7 games in one. Oh, because it's got more than just the Mega Man X. It's Mega Man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
X6. Yeah, it's through X6, but it's there's hidden feature Mega Man Battle and Chase racing game. I've never before released in the U.S., so I don't know what that is. I hadn't played that part of it. I actually went again at SOS. I think I finished X2 and got real close to X3, but X4. X1 through 3 were released on the SNES. 4 through 6 were the PlayStation. When they got to the PlayStation, they started doing like anime and between the scenes and stuff. And Mega Man X has just enough story. I don't need anime. I don't care about your anime.
Exactly. Mega Man period is just a great little storyline. I kind of like how they put it together. It's got a good little thing to it. Mega Man X has got a great little story to it. It really does. And to add anything extra into it, I think would take away from the game.
Yeah. So, but every time I play it, man, I just always think about going over to your house and playing it because you're the one that introduced me to it, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. I've finished that game so many times.
And it's a great little game. I mean, it really is. I was enjoying
playing it now, yeah. So, anyway, I'll give you a little bit of backstory on it. So, if you've played any Mega Mans, the creator of Mega Man is a guy named Dr. Light. And so he just goes and battles evil robots. So it's just a shooter platformer. And a shooter is probably not the right term, but just a platformer. It's
a 2D side scroller.
Yeah. So anyway, the bad robots were created by a guy named Dr. Wily, and so Mega Man runs through, kills the bad robots, takes their powers, uses the robots' powers on another bad robot, and it's like a rock paper scissors type of deal. If you kill the fire guy or you kill the ice guy, the fire guy is weak against that, or vice versa. that kind of stuff. So it's real fun, and then you always go to it's like that every one of them. If they haven't never changed the formula, and it's always worked. So anyway, so this game takes place 100 years after Mega Man 6, I believe.
Yeah, and, after the original series. Yep. Yeah,
after the original series, and so a guy named Dr. Kane discovers Dr. Light's laboratory and finds Mega Man X, which is not. Everybody thought it was Mega Man 10, and it's not. It's Mega Man X. I thought it was Mega Man 10 when you showed it to me, and we probably called it that for a while. But anyway, Mega Man X was he was locked up in a little capsule, and it had a warning saying, "Hey, do not open this until after 30 years because he's, we don't know if he's going to be. They can think for themselves. That's what he developed. Dr. Light developed robots that can think for themselves and feel, and artificial intelligence type deal. And he says, do not open this for 30 years because we don't know if he, for whatever reason, it could go bad, could go rogue. We don't know. 30 years is sufficient to allow for us to determine what he's going to be. So anyway, he ignores it, opens him up anyway.
Yeah, this one here says it was a 30-year diagnostic program to ensure these features, and basically the features of understanding the more controversial aspects of human morality. So basically, he was trying to build a robot that was more humanistic and had the lifelike features. It's kind of like if you've watched the movie Ex Machina, it's kind of like they're trying to develop a robot that is more humanoid and can blend in with society and things like that. So that's kind of a modern correlation for people listening.
Yeah, he wanted them to live normally, a normal life, and I'll talk about how I know that. Which, if you play the game, you know it. But anyway, none of this is in the game, by the way. This is just in the manual of the SNES game and in the collector's edition. But anyway, so Dr. Kane begins to develop other robots like him, and they start to go rogue. They start becoming known as Mavericks. So in order to counteract the Mavericks, he develops a Maverick Hunters team, and Mega Man X wants to be on that team. And so that's how that goes. There's also another guy named Zero, who's like everybody's favorite. I believe this is Zero's first appearance in a Mega Man game.
It is.
Proto Man. And the other ones, if you hadn't played Mega Man in a long time and you played Mega Man X, you might confuse those two. I know I did, but
we all thought that Zero was Proto Man. I remember thinking that too. Yeah. And also a little side note too, the Mega Man X, he was an android. He was the first android or whatever. Well, all the Mavericks were actually called Reploids. They were replicated androids. They were a replicant of Mega Man X. Mega Man X being the original, and then the Mavericks coming from his design.
Yeah, and so an interesting thing that they did now is, which I'm going to look this up too because this can be pretty funny, is that they went with animal characters for the bad guys for the first time instead of just, Bubble Man, Elect Man, Ice Man. So now they got Chill Penguin and Armored Armadillo, and Boomer Kawanger.
Here's a quick list of the Mavericks real quick. Chill Penguin, Spark Mandrill, Armored Armadillo, Launch Octopus, Boomer Kawanger, Sting Chameleon, Storm Eagle, and Flame Mammoth. That was the first time they actually named them actual animals. Yeah, that I remember. I might be wrong on that, but as far as
there was no animals. Yeah. They started getting kind of dumb, like Sheep Man. This is all in the old ones.
Yeah.
Burst Man. Let's see, Pump Man. I mean, I'm trying to find the dumbest one of all time. But Mega Man 3 they had some good ones, but Dust Man. Come on, dude. They're just running out of names. I mean, it's still fine, and it's kind of cheesy. The box art has always been cheesy. And they kind of own it, so that makes it a lot. It's just you deal with it. It's kind of part of the charm of it.
Yeah, I remember the box art on Mega Man 1. It was more of a person and not a cartoon. It was really funny looking because it's like when you look at it, you're like, this is the game I'm about to play, and then when you play it, it's almost nothing like the box art. It's really kind of funny there.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, he's holding a pistol in Mega Man 1 box art and Mega Man 2. And it wasn't until Mega Man 3 where he has the Buster Cannon, which is what you didn't even know he's a robot. And Mega Man 1. And Mega Man 9, the box art, which is just a digital thing. I can't remember if he's holding a gun or not. They went back to it to no, he's not holding a gun, but it's just still like it's just as cheap. Yeah, he is holding a gun. He has the gun and the Buster Cannon on Mega Man 9 box art. That's great.
Oh no!
They did that on completely on purpose, of course, but they did it to be cheesy with it. I mean, that's part of the charm of it. I mean, that's a great series.
Yeah, because I'm looking here at Mega Man 3's box art. It's the first one that he actually looks like Mega Man, because in Mega Man 1 he's got this like it's a man with this like, so it's typical cheesy 80s graphics. and it's this dude that's got basically yellow and blue armor on with a pistol.
You talking about Mega Man 1?
Yeah, Mega Man 1, and so it's just really funny. But Mega Man 3 and 4, they look like Mega Man on the game. Mega Man 5, it looks like 6, he's actually got red armor. And then
the box art for Mega Man 1 looks like a 6-year-old kid. True Mega Man. His
terrible.
Legs are like disproportionate. The helmet's not even on straight. It's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, Mega Man 9, you're right. It's really funny looking because he does have the Buster Cannon, but he also has a pistol too. So it's like, why do you need a pistol if you got the Buster?
They're men. Mega Man 2, it looks like they're still trying to replicate them as humans.
Yeah.
On the box art.
And what's funny is right here by the pictures I just pulled up, they actually made a Mega Man action figure from the box art of Mega Man 1. So there's a picture of this Mega Man. It's pretty funny. So.
I'm looking here on it says Angry Video Game Nerd bad cover art number 2. I don't know, it's on YouTube. I haven't watched it, but Hidden Mega Man's the number 2 bad box art. I don't know what number 1 is, but I mean, it's no doubt. It's just crazy.
Oh, that's crazy, but it was a great game. And just a fun little side fact too, Mega Man was actually not called Mega Man in Japan, and because it originated in Japan, it was actually called Rocket Man. When they moved it over here, they called it
Rockman.
I thought it was Rocket Man. I'm sorry.
Rockman, yeah. It's the exact same game. It's just called Rockman. You can actually buy it on, of course, and have it imported and put it on. Like I got the
Rockman. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
On a Famicom or whatever. I mean, you're not going to miss much because, like I said, the stories.
It's pretty much
Japanese.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
But you start this game off, and the main difference here is that you can get upgrades to your guy, like actual armor upgrades. So they started introducing, I believe it was part 3, they introduced the slide, Mega Man 3. 4, they start doing the charged Buster Cannon. And so Mega Man X, they introduced armor upgrades, which they're hidden all over. Heart containers hidden all over. Energy tanks hidden. Those energy tanks have been hidden for a while, but these you don't. Most of the old games on the NES are one use energy tanks, and they're done. These are refillable, but you start off kind of just in the city, and you're running trying to find the bad guy, the Maverick that you're chasing, and his name is what's his name? The purple guy. He's playable in the PSP version. I had his name, that's why I started talking about him, and I can't remember. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But it's a Maverick, and he's riding in some armor. It's just a mech with fists that punch you. And so you end up getting beat by him, and then Zero comes in and saves the day and tells you, hey, you're not strong enough yet. If you, you should be able to do better if you just you find all your upgrades and whatever. So that's it. He runs off. And then you start the standard Mega Man. You get to pick from, 8 bosses or so. And you got to find the order to do it. And that's part of the Mega Man. You find the order. The first one's Chill Penguin, but if you don't know that, you're just going to pick one, and it's not uncommon at all in Mega Man to play all the way through the stage, get to the boss, and die, and you got to die until all your men are gone, and you're going to pick a different stage because you realize, wait, this is not the right guy. This is not the right guy to do.
I remember that with us playing it for the first time, it took us quite a while to figure out the order in which to play it to beat it, because Like Hollywood said, there's an order to Mega Man games. You gotta figure out what their weaknesses are and beat the boss that has that power. So, Chill Penguin, of course, being the first one you start with, he has the power that you want to use to beat the next person with. But it takes you some time playing to figure that out. And two, you got to think about it. Back in the day, you're playing through, you get all the way to a boss and you lose, man. Oh, that was a dejecting little thing there when you did that, because you spent a good bit of time trying to figure out some of these stages, and especially too when you knew that there were actually secrets in the game. This is one of the first games that I vividly remember about having secrets. So that I remember trying to find all the secrets to make sure we got it all, and that was a really nice twist on this game, because they made it known that there are secrets in this game.
Yeah,
so they didn't hide that, but they didn't tell you where the secrets were. They just said there are secrets, and there are certain things you got to find.
And so the guy's name is Vile, Vile, is the purple guy. It's like a Boba Fett. They call him Baba Vile Fett. I think he's just like a Boba Fett. Anyway, a Boba Fett. And so anyway, yeah, you pick Chill Penguin, and so it's evident once you play the game through that Chill Penguin is obviously the first one, because you get your first upgrade there. It's just right in the standard path of going to the boss, and it's your leg upgrade. Your leg upgrade helps you to dash, and so now you got the dash again. So you got dash. Another cool feature this one introduced is which really kind of changed the game, is holding onto the wall. You can just wall jump.
Yep.
And you hold on and you slide down, but you just keep jumping up. You can grab onto the walls, and once you master the controls are phenomenal. Well, okay, let me put it this way, because this is a good way to put it. This is what I've heard. I love the controls. You can jump in the air, turn in the air, fall back down. It's just not realistic, obviously, but you've got total control of your guy. You feel like there's very few, if any, cheap deaths because of that control. And you've heard me say that I'm not a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog because of the slippery controls. Some people that grew up on that kind of stuff might consider them fluid and just kind of get used to that kind of stuff. And then the controls for Mega Man are rigid, and just kind of straight line, hard line. It's not realistic, because there's no. When you put that off your finger off that D-pad, he stops moving. He doesn't have any forward momentum or anything. He stops. So that's what I really like. But so having this dash and wall jump, you can really start to fine-tune your strategy, and you can go through the whole game with just a Mega Buster if you are really good at your movement patterns and whatnot. So, excuse me. You get done with Chill Penguin, and then you're moving on to the Mandrill, Spark Mandrill. So another thing they introduce, and it starts at Spark Mandrill stage. If you go along this path, you're not going to see it. You're going to have to come back to these stages, because a lot of the hidden stuff, like Clear was saying. For example, one of Boomer Kawanger, you kill him, he gives you a boomerang. Well, that boomerang grabs items. There's some heart containers that you can't get. Or the Spark Mandrill stage, I believe that's the one that has the energy tank that you can't get without a boomerang. So you have to come back to that stage, and after you've gotten the boomerang, if you finished, Storm Eagle, which he's not, he's like the 7th boss, but anyway, and according to the order, but you can still beat him. But anyway, the ship that you kill him on will crash down through Spark Mandrill stage, so it changes the whole dynamic of the stage. The same way for Flame Mammoth, it's a fire stage, but if you kill Chill Penguin, the flames are frozen over. And it's a lot easier that way. And you have to do that to get some of the items.
Yeah. So. And here in this walkthrough, it explains that there's actually a normal walkthrough and a speed walkthrough. And it says, there's one board that you have to revisit 4 times to get stuff out of it. And we'll talk about what you get out of that, because they actually introduced something in Mega Man X that actually was a part of another video game that they kind of used as a crossover and a twist between the two, which is a really weird connection, but it actually works later on, because eventually you'll see you'll see something else that they get brought in together. So
anyway, so you get the feet upgrade. And then next one usually, so we won't go through every single boss or anything like that, but let's just talk about the upgrades. So you get the feat that helps you dash. Your armor will help you take half damage, and your helmet will help you bust blocks. And the busting blocks are very rarely used. It's used for one big part, which I'm going to tell you about right now, because it has a memory to me. We played the game through several times, me and Clearfire, and so the standard progression we just always thought was, you kill all the bosses and you get the 3 armor upgrades, and then you go after you finish the first. It's not Dr. Wily, but the Mavericks Sigma. You start that path of Sigma. So once you kill all the bosses, you got to go to Sigma's castle or whatever he's at, and you got to finish each one of these different sections. There's a boss at the end of it. You move on to the next section, kill the boss, move on to the next section. Anyway, after the very first section of that, Zero gets broken, and so I don't think he doesn't get destroyed because he's in all the other games, but he gets cut in half, and so he gives his Mega Buster, his gun, to Mega Man, and you have a better gun now. I just thought that's the way it always worked. Well, one day I was playing Flame Mammoth stage, and I was looking, I said, wait, that looks like those blocks that you can bust with your head. I literally found this one on my own, which is awesome, because it is a pixel perfect jump. It is hard to do. It's taken me 30 minutes to do. You have to dash and jump, and your body will go through the part that he has to grab onto it and jump and bust it with his feet, and then start busting with his head. And you have to jump immediately as soon as you hit it. And sometimes you'll bust them and you'll fall off. You got to start the whole stage over again because those blocks do not respawn. But it's so hard to get that when you do finally get it, you're so surprised that you got it, you forget to push jump, and you fell off of it. It's so fast. You bust up through the blocks, and then you get the Buster cannon that Zero gives you that we thought was just standard part of the game. But you can get it right there. So there's actually 4 upgrades plus the secret one that we'll talk about. And then when you get to Zero, instead of him handing you the cannon, he says, "Oh, you're powerful enough to kill Sigma or whatever." But that cannon allows you to charge up an extra level, turns you pink, and you can fire off a pink blast, or all of your special weapons that you pick up from your enemies can also do something special if you charge it up pink like that. So, so I don't remember how long after we played it. It was a long time after we've been playing that game.
Yeah,
that I finally figured that out. So I'm sure I probably called you and told you, but
oh yeah. So the thing that we were talking about earlier, the little secret part, we'll talk about that next, since that we're kind of already been hinting at it enough already. Is the tie-in was actually in the Armadillo stage. You actually had to go to, depending on how you played it, you either had to visit it 4 or 5 times to be able to get the entire thing, and it was the Hadouken. And if you know your Street Fighter terminology pretty well, you know that that's a special move that Ryu and Ken does. It's called the Hadouken, and it allows Mega Man X now to throw a Hadouken, and they actually put that in there for a tie-in to Street Fighter to kind of help bridge the gap there some. I'm not sure exactly what their point was, but it was just a nice little marketing campaign. It's
an awesome thing. So yeah, it's from Street Fighter, of course, but they're both made by Capcom. But so the Hadouken. So I don't think that anybody knows exactly how to do it in terms of get that capsule to pop up. I've heard all the different ways to do it. You have to have all of your energy tanks full. First of all, you do have to have all the upgrades and all of the energy tanks, everything full. And I've heard you have to not take any damage going through the stage 4 times. I've heard you have to fall in the hole 4 times at the end. So the way that it works at the end, you drive it's a mine cart basically type of stage. You just get on it and it takes you down the track, and it's very fast. And then at the very, very last minute, it throws you across the big chasm, the big gap, and it throws you right at the boss door that opens up. Well, if you jump off at the peak of it, you can grab onto the wall and keep climbing. Then the capsule will be there sometimes, and sometimes it won't. and I don't know how to do it exactly. I've gotten it. I'll get it every time, but I just keep doing it until it finally shows up. I don't know exactly what, you get all your upgrades and stuff. I've done it. It seems like I've done it with it being up there the very first time, and I just say that I've heard about the Mega Man X reviews that I listened to today. I listened to 2 of them, and both of them had different ways of how to get it. So, and it's not that hard to get. It just takes time. You just keep doing it. I mean, I'll try to die 4 times. Anyway, the Hadouken is you throw it just like you do on Street Fighter, down right. You just roll your thumb down to right or left, whichever direction you're facing, and then Y, which would be square on the PlayStation, which is the one I'm playing. And he throws a Hadouken. He even lets out a little Mega Man Hadouken sound on the Super Nintendo version. And it kills everything with one hit, including bosses, including Sigma. But it's just hard to pull off, and you can only do it with when you have full everything again, or at least full life. If your life is not full, you can't do it. But it's hard to pull off. You can pull the one off in Street Fighter every time, and they make this one you have to do it perfect, I guess. But that was a nice touch. I like that, and even the Dr. Light character in the capsule has a Ryu gi on, like a little karate gi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is definitely one of the better X-Men's, and there's something, and maybe it is just nostalgia, but I mean, I played Part 2, and I finished Part 2 actually, and it was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't wasn't Mega Man X 1, and I played Part 3, like I said. Then you start getting into the anime, and anime just pulls me away from it. Now, like I said, Mega Man X has just enough story to keep you, okay, I know what I'm doing. Thank you. That gives me just at least a name to put to these bad guys, and just gives me just enough motive to keep going.
Well, it's a nice, simple story. It's not something that's got any high complexities in it. You've got a compelling villain with its many associates. You've got a compelling hero and his associates, and you have this really just nice blend of the reason why Mega Man X is trying to hunt down these Mavericks is because they're doing bad. They're giving the androids the Reploids a bad name, and he wants to make sure people are safe because he has that morality about him. He has that human emotion of I've got to keep people safe. People need to be safe. Him and Zero are that same vein, and it's just a really nice, simple story that explains itself without having to have all of this crazy detail, crazy drawn-out stuff. It's not like Destiny, where you have these deep, long storylines, or like...
Destiny didn't really have that either.
Well, they don't have that. Hey. Yeah, but
Any chance I get to dig at Destiny, I'm going to do it.
It's not like a Star Wars. It's not like Star Wars. Star Wars has this deep history and everything. Mega Man's got this nice surface level story. It's a great story that you can sink yourself into for 15 minutes and feel like you've known the whole thing.
It's actually deeper than you think, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So, and again, this is just the lore. I mean, this is canon with it, but it's not in the game. But it's actually an X4. So they finally introduced Zero's story. Well, Zero, you know who created Zero?
Dr. Wily actually created Zero.
Yeah, Dr. Wily created Zero. All right, it was his last creation before he died. Guess who found? Oh no, Kane. I can't remember who found him.
I can't remember who found Zero.
Whoever found him woke him up. I don't think it was Dr. Kane. I think one of the robots found him and opened it up. And because immediately he gets into a fight. So all of the Mavericks hunters try to kill Zero, and Zero kills all of them by himself. Well, then Sigma, the bad guy in Mega Man X, was actually a Maverick hunter at the time, and came and challenged Zero to one-on-one, beats him, and he does something. I don't remember how he gets infected, but he gets infected with a virus from Zero that caused him to turn evil. And so, but in the meantime, Zero joins the Maverick Hunters. They reprogram him or whatever, or he just realizes the error of his ways. Because remember, Dr. Light has started to create these robots that can. Well, Dr. Wily apparently found his own way, or the replicatoids. I don't know the exact story about it, but anyway, Zero is going to be good. And Sigma is the leader of the Maverick Hunters, and since he's infected by this virus, he starts slowly turning bad. And he's trying to keep it a secret. Well, he eventually goes out in open rebellion and starts recruiting all of his best soldiers, Chill Penguin, Spark Mandrill, all this kind of stuff, and that's how that gets started. And now Zero's now the leader of the Maverick Hunters, and you get to play as him in X. Which one is it? 3. Yeah,
X3.
I know it's 3 or 4. So you'll finally get to play as him full on as in X3. Is it the full? So you can play as him for a minute or two on one of those X, but not full on. In other words, if he dies in one of those, he's dead in the rest of the game. I think is that X3?
No, I think it's like...
I think it's X3. And X4 is the one where you can play on him as a full-on character. Because that was the first one on PlayStation, so that's what it is. So yeah, you could play with him at... So I'll look it up and make sure.
Yeah, let's see. It's X5. It's X5 that if he dies, or hold on, not initially present.
It's Mega Man 3. I can almost guarantee you. So Mega Man.
Well, I was just reading this one right here. It's like in Mega Man X6, Zero is not initially present in the game since he went missing by the end of Mega Man X5 during fight against Sigma, and he becomes an optional character depending on how the story develops throughout the game. So that might be what
you can. Now you can play as him. I know you can play full on as in Mega Man X4.
Yeah, X4. He's one of them.
Because I could. That's the first time I saw it. This is a whole story about him right here on the Wikipedia. I'm just trying to see when I could play as him. But okay, Mega Man X2. Okay, Mega Man X3. Mega Man X3. Turn screen.
Yeah, X3 was the first time you could play as him.
Yeah, so after completing opening stage, the player can call on Zero anytime by pressing the R button on start. However, Zero adheres to a certain set of rules. He is only able to maneuver through regular parts of the stage and will automatically be replaced by X upon reaching a gate or sub-boss. Player also cannot die in-game as Zero. If Zero dies, a cutscene will appear where Zero will talk about being damaged and will be unusable for the rest of the game. However, he will still appear in the Doppler stages to assist X during the sub-boss encounter, taking care of boost. Yeah, so that's Mega Man X4. There you go. Zero's first appearance as a fully controllable character with his own story.
So X3, he's just an optional helper here and there, and if you die with him, he's gone.
Yeah, and so and X4. So the good thing about X4 was kind of cool. Mega Man or Zero, you could play as either one. They both have a different story. But like I said, it started to get a little bit story intensive, and I like story in game. But I'm not an anime critic or fan. It's just kind of pulls me out of the story a little bit, or out of the game a little bit. So, but I thought that was pretty cool that Zero was created by Dr. Wily, and then Sigma was really a good guy. It's kind of a twist and turn back in 96 or 90. It'd be 94 when that's when Zero was introduced. So that was back. Was that 23 years ago? Mm-hmm. Destiny could have used some writers like that. So yeah, Mega Man X had a deeper story than Destiny. But anyway, I'm giving it a hard time.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had created a whole new universe in Destiny and all that too. But Mega Man did too, to some degree, on a 16-bit system. Actually, an 8-bit system for Nintendo. But
yeah, they were some of the original ones to do out a good story. But like I said too, though, if you didn't want to dive deep into the lore of it, I mean, that's any game you can dive. Need to, yeah. Any game you can dive deep into lore, but for this to play through the entire game, you can play through the entire game and never read any of the stuff that we're talking about now. And
you will still enjoy it.
Still enjoy the game and feel like you played the whole game and feel like you know the whole game, because you'll get to know Mega Man throughout the game. You'll get to know whatever other characters are playable with them. I was going to throw in Rush, but I remembered Rush is actually in Mega Man 3, not in the X series. I think he might have came in later, in the X series, but I didn't play too deep in the X series. I think I got to Mega Man X2 or I think I got to Mega Man X3 because I think I remember playing Zero or playing as Zero. Because I really like Zero. Zero, what's cool about Zero is he looks a little more humanistic than all of them, because he's got hair, he's got swords, he has a different build about him. He just has that better feel about him, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's got the sword, and that was the part of him in X4. He had the sword. Of course, Mega Man has the gun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through. I didn't play these final bosses, but I'm going to go through them here. So like I said, once you finish all the bosses, you go to the final stages, and you got Boss Spider. And I remember Boss Spider. That's just such a great design. So the way that it works, there's 4 pillars basically in the room. So the room is one screen. Well, not always one screen, but most of the time in a Mega Man game, it's going to be one screen for the boss. You're in a room. It has 4 lines that come down, 4 pillars. So you'll see the spider peek out of one. It's just going to go straight down. So you just move, right? Well, eventually they pulls up little crossbars. It's kind of like a ladder. They're going to come at a certain random pattern, and he's going to go down. And if he comes to that crossbar, he's going to cross over to the next pillar. Go down, and he might cross over to another pillar. And you don't know. You got to kind of guess. You get a split second to guess where he actually is going to end up, and you got to get out of there. And
I remember that. Fast. I remember that too.
You can only hit him when he's on the ground.
Yep. I remember that. I remember dying many, many times at that stage, and just getting so mad about it.
It was a fun one though. I mean, I like that one because it's a real split second. I got to try to look and calculate in my mind. It tells you where he's going to be if you can think that fast. Which is so. At the end, he moves so fast, it's almost impossible. But anyway, the second boss is the Rangda Bangda. And it's I don't know where that name comes from.
Before you jump too far on that, something that was cool about this is, so you had all your other stages up to this point. You would play a stage, then you'd have a boss. Play a stage, have a boss. That's pretty much how it was all the way until you start getting to Sigma's Castle. Sigma Castle actually breaks it down into several bosses each stage. So like for this stage that Hollywood's talking about, you fight Armor Mech Vile from the very first stage that you fought, where you were forced to lose. He actually has Zero captured. You have to fight Armor Mech Vile. Then you have to fight Vile outside of his mech suit. And then you have to fight Boomer Kawanger again. And then you get to Bio Spider. So you have to get through Bo Spider. True. You have to get through all of this before you even get to Bo Spider. And so that was really interesting to have to go through that after you've been playing stages before, and then you have to go through all of this. In previous X-Men, but in previous Mega Mans, you didn't have to go through that much to get to a boss in the final stages like that. You might have to fight one of the other bosses, but not, basically have 3 boss fights before you even get to the boss of the first stage of the first stage of the Sigma's Castle.
Yep.
So that's just a little interesting thing to bring up there to think about it. So
yeah, so and so if you could die, and you would pick up where like I said, like he was saying, there's different bosses, and you get to that spider boss. Well, you beat the spider boss, go to the next group, you die there. You'll start back after the spider boss. You don't have to start the whole thing over unless you reset the game. You do have to start even if you saved it or had a password, you still have to start that. Whole castle over. Mm-hmm. So the Rangda Bangda is like a big robot face, basically, that opens his eyes. The eyes come at you, the nose, or and so on. You just got to kill all the little nose and eyes, and while the walls are closing in on you. And if the walls close in on you, you still can hang on the wall. You got to do the fight hanging on the side of the wall because there's spikes on the ground. And
as I say, in the middle of the room, you have a spike pit. So you have these walls that close in on you while you're doing this fight, and this spike pit. So you're having to dodge all this junk that's coming at you, and that. So it's really, to me, that was a pretty creative. I'm as we're talking about it, I'm remembering the boss fight. Remember these fights. To me, it was a pretty creative fight, considering the games of that day. You didn't find that many things going on in a game in a boss fight, and so to have quite several things, that was pretty cool to have that. Of course, it gave me lots of fits to beat it, but, looking back on it, that's a really creative way to throw challenges at somebody.
Yeah, I'm trying to hope my computer's not messing up, locking up. There it goes. So the boss fights for Sigma's Castle are actually a lot easier than a standard Mega Man boss fight, or not bosses, not boss fights, but standard Mega Man Dr. Wily Castle bosses.
Yeah,
those
they actually
are tough.
were. Yeah, Dr. Wily was something you didn't want to mess with. And then going back to the whole point as well, talking about the board a little bit. This board here, before you get to Rangda Bangda, you have to fight Chill Penguin. Then you have to fight in a mech. You have to fight a mech armor part, and then you have to also fight Storm Eagle. So you're going back and you're fighting all the old bosses again as well. So you have to use the same techniques to beat them again, and basically you have to beat all these bosses that you already beat earlier all over again. And so, you know, that gives it a fun complexity. But then again, you know, like Hollywood's saying, you could save it to a certain extent, but if you ever turn your game off and get back in, you put your passcode in, you got to go through and fight all that over again to get all the way to Rangda Bangda.
Yep. You have to do all that. So give me the third boss. You looking at it?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me forward it on.
I'll just tell you. It's called D-Rex. I was just looking at something else.
Oh, yeah.
So D-Rex, this guy was, I don't think I've ever died on this boss. This guy was
This one was really easy. I was really surprised at how easy this one was as far as going into it and everything, because it's like, really, you're throwing this at us before, you know, this is supposed to be the third boss now, you know, this is supposed to be the one right before you're actually getting to Sigma. Why is he so easy, you know? Now granted, you had to go through, it looks like you had to go through a few more. You had to go through Armored Armadillo, Sting Chameleon, Spark Mandrill, and Launch Octopus before you got to and Flame Mammoth. I'm sorry, you had to go through all 5 of those before you got to D-Rex. But when you got to D-Rex, it's just like, seriously, this is what you're giving me for a boss fight? So he was kind of weak. So
yeah, and he's just a big alligator skull robot on wheels, basically.
Just a big old mouth open and closing.
Yeah, and you just kill the top part or the bottom part first. That's all it is to it. And so then you start to Dr. Wily after that, and he's got several stages. And before we get there, I'm trying to find the name. I cannot find the name of that boss. It's the first boss you come to in Dr. Wily's castle on Mega Man 1. I believe he's in all the Mega Mans, and it's that big one-eyed brown. It's just it's a big just blob. Basically, he's got feet and big arms, and he opens his eye, shoots some bullets at you, whatever. You shoot him in the eye, he closes it, and then he just turns into little projectiles to go across the room as he reforms across the room. You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Oh gosh, he's in every single Mega Man. There's a glitch you could exploit. It's like the only way to beat him.
Yeah, because he doesn't.
You can
look
beat
like
him otherwise.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he was in the X series games.
No, he wasn't in X. No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find this guy. This guy was terrible. He was in Mega Man 3, I think. See, boss is Mega Man 1. Let me just put it that way, and then I can find it. Wily Fortress 1. Okay. Yeah. See, this guy was tough, man. All right, there's the stage. Yep, there he is. Okay, let's see what his name is. You have to take on 3 big eyes. That's not it. Big eyes are just the regular bosses. Yellow Devil. That's fitting. That's his name, Yellow Devil.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's when you first make it in the stage, shortly after. So when you first make it to the end of the stage, you'll enter an empty room and a door will seal. This guy's not on Mega Man X, but he's a classic Mega Man boss for Dr. Wily. As soon as you get the chance, run to the right. Shortly after that, blobs of matter will come flying from left to the left side of the room and assemble on the right. When fully assembled, they'll construct a massive enemy known as the Yellow Devil. Single eye will appear somewhere on the body, and it'll shoot a bullet at you. That when the eye closes, the Yellow Devil will begin to disassemble. So you cannot hurt him.
I remember
He's go across the room now, and he just does that over and over. And you shoot him, it barely takes any life away. He hits you, it crushes you. And so there's a cheap trick that you do. You just get the I don't. He tells me to click it, but I just know what it is. You get the Elect Man, shoot it at him, and then it'll hit. As soon as it hits his eye to start damaging him, you just keep pausing it as fast as you can and unpausing it, and it's constantly draining his life. I don't know, it's some glitch. that if you do that, it'll constantly drain his life. But anyway, so let's just go over the boss, the final. So
the final,
so you gotta
go ahead. So the final boss it's a fairly easy stage because you're just hopping around. It's not too much really.
Just go up the wall.
Yeah, there's not too much. You're just climbing up. Once you finally get there, you get to see Sigma, and he's got this robotic animal with him. It's called, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm gonna try it. Velgator. It's Velgator. So basically, it's like a robotic like puma. That'd be one of my best explanations for it. And I remember fighting this thing because I'm looking at a picture of it, and thing jumped all over the place. It was bouncy, shooting. It shot shooting electric orbs and long flames, and he was really fast. And so you had to be prepared to move fast. And the main thing that you used to help fight him was a shotgun ice, and that was you had to keep on doing that and just go back and forth to dodge his jump attacks.
Yeah, and then he fights Sigma. He has a lightsaber.
Yeah, I was like, that tripped me out
all over. He's one with he knows about the Force.
Yeah.
So apparently the robots can learn the Force because he's hovering all around and just slashing. And you can hit him with, of course, the Hadouken. It'll kill him. It's very hard to pull off. Yeah, it says, alternatively, if you manage to acquire the Hadouken, keep performing a combination immediately after 2 screens of dialogue prior to the fight. If done correctly, you'll fire off a Hadouken that will obliterate him immediately. That was always good. Mm-hmm. Then you fight the Wolf Sigma, which is the big robot. It's just a huge robot. It's got to jump on his hands as they come down to attack you. You move out of the way, jump on the hands, climb up to the top, and hit the head, and it'll eventually destroy him, and you win the game.
And that was a slightly bit of a complicated fight when we first were trying to play it. I remember, being, what were we, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in that time, age range, something like that? Or
they at some point, I think it was Mega Man 3 that did the same thing. It was Mega Man 3. Actually, I think it was Mega Man 2. It was. So Mega Man 2 had Bubble Man, which you shoot the bubble, it trickles out of your Mega Buster, bloop, and just lands on the ground and rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Snake Man's weapon that he shoots a snake out of his I was going to say pistol, a snake out of his Buster Cannon, and it lands on the ground and crawls away straight ahead. So both of those weapons are not really that useful. They just drop out and just crawl across the ground. So of course that's the weakness. Dr. Wily, his weakness, or Sigma in this case of Mega Man X, but in Mega Man 3 and 2 both, you had to go up the hands. You didn't have to do it in Mega Man 2. I think you just flew around in a spaceship, but you still had to jump up and hit. No, it was an alien that would appear and disappear, something like that. And you had to hit him with the bubbles. And Mega Man 3, it was a similar one. You jumped on the hands and had to hit the boss in the head with the snake. So you had to get real close to damage him without being damaged. So that's kind of the challenge they like to do at the end of these games sometimes.
Yeah, you'll end up. The good thing about the game is you'll actually end up using every single ability that you get throughout the game. So that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool addition there. So you don't feel. So once you finally finish the game, you don't feel like anything was useless. Relating it back to games nowadays, there's so many things that you end up finding that are useless that you scrap or whatnot throughout the thing, and they're never really a use for. Games like this, they used everything. If you got it, if it was a reward, you used it for some reason eventually. If it was the final boss fight and it was the dinkiest gun and you've never used it, by God, that's going to be the one to kill him super quick and easy. And that was always kind of funny to me because it's like, okay, so you get the dinkiest gun, and that's the one that kills this super boss that's controlling everything. Well, why didn't that bad guy?
It's like
if he was a bad
cricket.
Yeah,
cricket off Men in Black.
The little noisy cricket.
The cricket off Men in Black.
Oh man,
that small little pistol is like the best gun
exactly
in the universe.
And so, it reminds me of SOCOM. My favorite gun that I thought was the best gun was a gun that everybody hated, but yet I could kill people with it no problem. The trick to it is always aim at people's feet and you'll shoot them in the head. I loved that gun.
That Glock 18.
Yeah, it was a machine gun pistol. And
what was it called? Glock 18? It's Model 18. Just Model 18 is what it was called.
It was the crappiest. Yeah. It was literally the crappiest gun in the game, but for me it was the best gun. And when we talk about SOCOM, I will definitely go on a spree about one of our clan wars that we were in, that I saved our clan with just that pistol. It was hilarious because I got so much hate text mail from the other clan about that. They said I was cheating and found a way to cheat and all that. I'm like, no dude, I used the crappiest gun on you. That's all I did.
Well, anyway, Mega Man X overall, I think it's a great game. It's hard to think of anything bad to say. If I have to say anything kind of critical about it, it's going to be, which is certainly certainly valid point, in that if you get a brand new guy who's never played X or Mega Man's at all, there's no real hint or way to know in order to fight the bosses. You just kind of do trial and error at first, so it's a little bit overwhelming if you're trying to just jump into a new one. You're going to have a lot of patience until you figure out that order. And but that, again, that's kind of part of the charm of it if you are a Mega Man player.
Exactly. That's what made Mega Man fun, was finding out how to beat the bosses the most efficient way. That was, to me, that was always the fun part of the game.
Well, if you turn on a brand new one, it is a little bit, and that's true. I've done it. Go turn on Mega Man 6, and okay, I got an hour to play, and you're trying to play through, and you're trying to figure. If you never played it before, try to figure out, and don't look up, how to do it. But and they have to do it that way, because somebody's like, oh, you should be able to beat them all if you just learn their pattern. And Mega Man 5 was kind of like that. I actually owned that one on NES, and I was playing that one for the first time. I never played it until I started collecting, maybe 2-3 years ago. And you didn't even need the other guys' weapons. You could do it. Their patterns are so simple. You could just use your Mega Buster, and this kind of defeats it. It's not really, didn't feel like a Mega Man at that point. So that's pros. I could see it both ways. But anyway, that's like I said. I'm reaching to try to figure out something to say. I love this game. I've completed it so many times, and I'm going to continue to do it. But like I said, I always think back to, you were the first one to discover it. I never even heard of it. Like I said, I was getting Nintendo Powers and all that, and Nintendo Power. This is a funny thing. They did release a Mega Man X Nintendo Power, but I think that was after you got the game. And it was just weird. It's just some kind of weird thing that do you remember what that was weird about that Nintendo Power? I remember this stuff. I don't know how I remember this stuff.
I don't know.
You don't remember any of it. Yeah. But anyway, it had a silver cover over it.
That's right. I remember that.
It didn't have any. It's just it's an outline. It had the normal cover. But over the normal cover of the Nintendo Power, it had a silver...
It had a silver dust cover. I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember that now. For no reason. It was just kind of so weird. It didn't say, hey, this is what we're... nobody explained it or anything.
I remember
it wasn't even a dust cover. It was a dust cover, I guess, but it was attached to the Nintendo Power. It wasn't like it was, like a regular book dust cover you could take off. It was just kind of strange, and it had the outline of the cover, kind of like 3D, where you could touch it. It's textured, but... it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Is it metal? Is it supposed to be like machines? I don't know.
Super random that they did that.
And Nintendo Power, man, they just do all kind of weird stuff like that.
I wish it would have never gone out, but hey,
Yeah. But anyway, just a fun little fact, too. They actually released it. They had a plan to release all of the Mega Man 1 through... They actually got it to 8 on PS7 and 8 are on PS2. But, and I believe it was 1 through 6. They may have decided to try to go to 8. It doesn't really matter. For a PSP remake. And they were going to remake each one and put it on PSP. They only got to 1. Mega Man X, Maverick Hunter is what it's called. And it's just a remake of Mega Man X. And updated graphics. The music's better. It's on PSP. So it's all... The controls are the same. Everything's just different graphics. They put the power-ups in a little bit of different place. But and I've never played it personally, but one cool feature that I think is actually really cool was you can play as Vile, which, okay, great, you can play as a different character, but he has 3 attacks: a leg attack, a cannon, and then just a buster. But you can upgrade each one of those you have a set of points like 0 or 14, and every time you put an upgrade in the gun, it maybe gives you 3 points. You get an upgrade on the legs, now you get another 3 points, so you're 6 or 14. You can't go over that limit. It's like an RPG kind of, but there's several different upgrades you can put into each one of those slots and really fine tune the character. I thought that was a great idea for a Mega Man, instead of just having, okay, you got a different weapon. Now you can, think of Mega Man X when you can, let's not use Mega Man X, but just because Mega Man X is a great game, I don't want to change it up any, but let's just say a Mega Man X-like game that has the chest, the helmet, or whatever, and you can upgrade that helmet, upgrade that chest, upgrade that, that'd be cool with various things that you collect from the bosses. But it kind of exists on PS or PSP, so PlayStation Portable, as Vile. But they say if you get 3 different loadouts that are incorrect and you get to a boss, I mean, you're done. If the boss isn't weak to them. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's just an interesting thing, I thought, because I didn't even know that exists, and I thought for sure, oh my gosh, that's going to be PSP. That thing is going to be expensive, and it is only $15. So if you want to play that one, you got $15 on you. You can get it off Amazon, and you got a PSP.
Might need to try to get that because I've got a PSP. Yeah,
I do too, and I saw that, and I was like, man, that's I can get a brand new one for $20, $20.80, brand new. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to see when it came out, but whatever. That's just kind of a side note.
Probably came out like 2006. That's gonna be my guess.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it did. Release date August 7, 2006. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's Mega Man X, real quick, down and dirty. A great one of my childhood favorites, and I always enjoy playing that one. And I'll play through it every so often just to remember and then have fun. Really quick. So what do you think we should do next?
Man, I've been trying to think of things to do next, and I'm not totally sure. It's just like,
well,
what can we do? I mean, we got so many different options.
I know the obvious choice. We got 2 obvious choices: is SOCOM or Final Fantasy VI, which is my favorite game. Final Fantasy III.
Yeah.
In the NES, but that's going to take more than an hour. That'll take 2 or 3 part episodes.
You know what? I think that actually a good idea. Why don't we break down a good classic RPG and really just go into our true roots where we really dive hard into something like that. Let's hit up either Final Fantasy 2 or 3, because I've got stories about both of them. I remember them both very, very well, and they're both great games. And I think we should maybe break apart one of those 2.
Yeah, that's something to definitely consider. I kind of like the Mega Man X episode just because it was real quick. It's not a whole lot to break down.
Exactly.
But if we do those RPGs, it's definitely going to be more than a single hour.
SOCOM ain't going to be a single hour either, so it's going to be a long one too. So
that's fine. So we'll figure something out, but
we'll bring y'all something fun. You'll have something to enjoy about, and I promise you, I'll tell you another weird way I relate with the game.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I saw this game had some Christmas money, and what do you know? It had some water on it, and I love water. I love ocean. I love the ocean, so I was like, man, I got to have this guy. Oh, good, it's Mega Man, too. So, good thing it was in the ocean. I must know what they were doing. It's really in the oceans at that time in my life. It tripped me out. But anyway, dude, that's cool, man. It was a lot of fun, so I guess that'll do it. So we'll wrap that up right here, and we will release this one Thursday. And again, just stay on the lookout for every week. We're going to keep them going.
Yeah, and when he drops the podcast, please look down in the description. We should have a couple links in there for you too. So
yeah, I forgot to do it in this one, but that's because we were ranting about Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny.
So
Destiny.
I was too busy. I was too busy ranting about Destiny in the description to remember to put our links and stuff. But
anyway. we'll have an email address ready for you to email us too on this one. So check out our links down below. And
and if you're just listening on just kind of subscribing, and some people subscribe and it just downloads automatically, then we're Hollywood Cole on Twitter, Facebook. Well, actually not on Facebook. I don't have Hollywood Cole on Facebook. It's just Twitter, PSN handle. Hollywood Cole, that's with an I instead of a Y and a K instead of a C, all one word. And
you got Clearfire on Twitter. If you hit Clearfire on Facebook, you will find my personal profile. I don't mind if you go out there and pop it. If I don't know who you are, I won't friend you, but hey, don't take any offense to it. You can go hit us up on our Facebook page. That is HnK Gaming Experience. You can search us by that and find us there, which we will actually have all of our links to everything on that as well. It's one of our top pinned posts. It has the links to our podcast, to our Twitters. We have Twitters for both each of us individually and as our gaming page as well. So you can check that out. We also have our Twitch links, and I think I put a YouTube link in there as well. So you've got all of that. We'll try to put up some, if I can get Hollywood to do some video recording for us on the back end of when he plays a game or when I play a game, we'll start posting those up there too, to our YouTube and Twitch and whatnot, and we'll get those in there as well. So that way you can see us playing some games as well. We might not have any video, we might not have any audio with it other than the game audio, but you at least can see a playthrough of a game or whatnot and check out what we play.
All right, that'll do it.
All right, take care.
Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks, guys.